Okay.
No, I don't have my Gemara. I didn't think I would be at this event for too long, and ended up being there for 6 hours. So.
Good surprise.
Can't compete with this, everybody said. Let's go. Faster around, coming. Yeah, you're back. We're ready to go. Rabbi say, let's jump right inside yesterday. I'm picking up, Rabbi say, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lines. 12 lines from the bottom of the page.
$30.
12 lines from the bottom of the page, Rabbi say. Amra Papa. If anybody wants, we actually have forks. Oh, we have right here. We don't have to go far. Right here. You can just, Anybody wants? So Amra Papa, Rabbi say, Rabbi say, look at this Gemara. We're now in the big discussion on Mem Zayin Amar Aleph, 12 lines up from the bottom, Amra Papa. We're in a very interesting discussion, which we're trying to demonstrate that the 8th day of Sukkot, which is really Shmini Atzeres, is a new Yom Tov. Yesterday we had a whole discussion. We did a small Gemara, but a little bit of a back and forth. Yesterday's Gemara, we had a whole discussion between comparing it to the 7th day of Pesach. Right now our Gemara is focusing just on the 8th day of Sukkot compared to the other 7 days of Sukkot. And we're going to show that the 8th day of Sukkot is a whole Yom Tov by itself. The 8th, the Shmini Atzeres, and it's very different than the days before. Amra Papa, Hacha, on the 8th day of Sukkot, Hacha, but everybody said, I beg the Olam just to write in an extra word, it means everything. Hacha, you're not going to know, Pesach, Sukkot, the whole last Gemara. Hacha, the 8th day of Sukkot, Ksiv Par. It says, bull, singular. Hasam, by the other 7 days of Sukkot, Ksiv Parim. It says cows. Now, I did this, Rabbi Sai. I hope you can see it here. I didn't write it, so I just wrote this out over here. Just to show you, the first day of Sukkot, you bring 13 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 sheep. Ignore everything, just focus on the bulls. The next day it's 12 bulls, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Everything says 11. 13 part, 12 part. The 8th day should be one bull. Pie. So you go down in the bulls, but on the Shmini says it says only singular. So the Gemara says that's a whole different Yom Tov. You're not following the other days. If you follow the days, you bring 6 bulls. It's a parim. Rather, 13 all the way to 7. 8th day, 1 bull. Clark? So the 8th day, Rabbi say it's 1 bull. So you see, we're not following any sort of pattern. We're not following the pattern of the previous days. And therefore, it's a whole new Yom Tov.
There's a new set of karbanos.
Yeah, exactly. Says the Gemara, let's move along. Hasam Ksiparim. Hasam by all 7 days Ksiparim. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Amar. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, Hacha, the 8th day of Sukkot, Ksiv Bayoim. On the day. It's talking about the 8th day of Sukkot, Bayoim, on the day. Hasam. All other days of Sukkot, Ksiv Ubayoim. Underline the Vav, everybody say. The Vav means Ubayoim means it's connecting. And on this day, meaning that this day and this day and this day.
It rolls one into the next.
Exactly. The Vav every day keeps saying Ubayoim. Comes the 8th day, Bayoim.
Same reason as the Purim.
Yes, just demonstrating it in a different way. Rav Ashi Amar Rav says, Hacha, the 8th day, Ksiv, Kimishpat, like its law. Kimishpat is singular, like its law. You bring the Kabbanis like its law.
Hacha,
The 8th day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres. Hacha, on the 8th day of Shmini Atzeres, Ksiv, Kimishpat, like its law. It has its own set of laws. Hasam, on all other days, Ksiv, Kimishpatam, like their laws. Because they shear. Laws are they share the same halachas. Okay.
Kimishpat means law.
Kimishpat like it's law. It's law, singular. Amazing. Lema misayeh alei.
Wow, that's the second time. Lema misayeh that one.
What are you saying? Fact checking here. Lema misayeh alei. Let's bring a proof, right? To Rabbi Yochanan. Yes.
This is the first one.
Lema misayeh alei.
That is what we said.
You ready for this, Rabbi Sai? The Gemara began, Rabbi Sai, the Gemara began, you ready for this? The Gemara began yesterday, we started the Gemara of Shmini Atzeres, and it started with Rabbi Yochanan saying that you make a Shechianu, you make Zman on the 8th day. So Lema say, let's bring a proof that you make a Shechianu on the 8th day. Lema Mesayele, bring a proof, they make Shechianu on the 8th day. Good? Lema Mesayele, they make Shechianu on the 8th day. Ready for this? It's a brisa. We're going to quote a brisa now.
Bring your proof that we're going to make Shechianu?
Rabbi Yochanan yesterday, we saw Rabbi Yochanan said that on the 8th day you make a Shechianu. Shechianu signifies it's a new day. Shechianu v'chion lazman hazeh. Let's bring a proof, Taka, from another brisa that we'll see from this brisa that you make a Shechianu on the 8th day. Leima misayele. It says in the brisa haparim, the cows, ha'elim, the rams, bakvasim, and the sheep. Ma'akvan ze'edzeh. Each one is required. What does it mean each one's required?
One is, you're missing one?
You're missing, exactly. Rabbi Sai, look, if you noticed on the first day of Sukkot, which is Tezvav over there, I wrote 13 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 sheep. The next day, you do 12 bulls, but the rams and sheep stay the same. The next day, 11 bulls, the rams and sheep stay the same. Now, it says the Gemara, that let us suggest that all 3 things are required. Ma'akva means to hold back the kabbanas, which means if you're missing any of them, that's what the Chamim say. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, he says no. Parim, the bulls, ein ma'akvin zeh. The bulls, missing them or missing any of them is not a problem. Ein ma'akvin zeh. Missing them won't hold back. Right? Ma'akiv means will prevent the mitzvah. The bulls, no. The bulls are not a problem. You know why? Rabbi Yehuda gives an interesting reason. Sherei mismatin v'holchen. They diminish every day.
So it's not like a proper...
So right on the side. So the number is not so important. The Torah didn't give every day this. It diminishes every day. The bulls go less, 13, 12, 11, 10. So you see, it's not so important. It's not so important to have the bulls. Are you masking?
I'm personally not masking.
Oh, what's up? But you hear it. You hear it.
Yeah, I hear it. I guess.
In as much as the Torah decreases the amount, you see that.
Just agree.
You ready for this? I mean, if you're missing any of them, you can still bring the others and fulfill. Ma'akah means that you need.
You're still missing a fulfillment of the Torah?
You'll still be missing that one, but it doesn't prevent the other kabbalas from being brought. Let me just clarify this. Ma'akah means that if you're missing this, you can't bring any of them. It's a package deal. So we're saying right now that the bulls is not part of the package. If you're missing a bull, it's okay. Why? Why?
If you're missing Abel or
Abel. Because the number, you see the Torah anyhow lowers the numbers every day. The amount of bulls is not ma'akid, which means it's not so important. It's not it doesn't prevent the mitzvah. Why shall we mismatin b'holchen? Okay, very good. So since the amount diminishes, it's less important. Watch this, Rabbi Yisai. Amru loi, the Chachamim told Rabbi Yehuda. Amru loi, the Chachamim told Rabbi Yehuda. Wait. Vari kulan, all 3 categories, which means all 3 types of kabbanis, mismatin diminished. Mismatin v'holchin, they diminished bishmini on the 8th day.
All 3 categories.
Look, Rabbi Yisai, on the last day, Rabbi Yisai, look at this, Rabbi Yisai, between the 7th day, and the 8th day. Rabbi Yisai, look at this for a second. The 7th day, you bring 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 sheep.
With another ayah.
The 8th day, wait, no, just the 8th day, you bring 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 sheep. So the Rabbanan say, all of them on the 8th day gets diminished.
What do you...
So a second. So we're not yet the raya. So basically, Rabbi Yehuda says it's not the amount of kabbanis, the amount of bulls. Rabbi, so listen closely because just pay attention to this. Rabbi Yehuda says the amount of bulls is not so important. Why not? Why not? Why is the amount of bulls not so important?
Because we see every day it's going down 1, 1, 1. No.
So the amount of bulls is not ma'akiv. What does it mean? The amount of bulls is not ma'akiv. means that if you're missing a bowl, it's not a problem. Because anyhow you go down. So Rabbanan said, if that's the case, by the ram and the sheep you go down on the 8th day, so why should the rams also be a problem if you're missing a ram? Meaning, let's look at the rams, look at the pattern. The rams also go down. So you see the Torah is not so much about the rams either. So let's say one day instead of having 2 rams, I have 1 ram. Just wait a second. Let's say one day instead of having 14 sheep, I have only 12 sheep. You asking me, Mayor? Chaim Baruch, you asking? So the Chachamim say, wait. The Chachamim are looking at the 8th day part of Yom Tov. So they say, wait, I'm sorry, Rabbi Yaakov, this is not so easy.
chairs.
I don't take Chaim seat.
I'm coming.
So,
I need to get a
so Rabbi Sai, Amrullah, look at this, Rabbi Sai. Amrullah, the Chachamim told Rabbi Yehuda, very cool and mismatin. All 3 carbonis diminish. B'shmi b'holchin, mismatin holchin, they get diminished. B'shmi on the 8th day. Question mark. So basically, what's the question? So why are any of them ma'akiv? I know, I agree. So why are any of them ma'akiv? Anyhow, all 3 categories change at some point.
According to you, Rabbi Yehuda.
According to Yehuda, that the fact that they diminish, they go down in number, is a reason to say that obviously you see the Torah doesn't care so much about the noun, the number. So then even in the other ones. What? You asking? She was good. Amar Lehen? No. Who just says that's not? I wrote Amar Lehen, not a question.
That's the thing that we were discussing.
I know. Just wait. Amar Lehen. Rabbi just said not a question. Shmini, the 8th day, regal b'fnei atzmayu. No, wait a second. This 8th day is a Yom Tov by itself. Why? Look at this, Rabbi say, don't miss a word here. This is important stuff. You ready, Rabbi say? Turn the page so you see how the Shemaya.
The answer.
Yeah, just the answer. He's explaining. Shekeshem, that just like. You ready, Chevron? Shekeshem, that just like. Rabbi say, don't miss, please. Shekeshem, that just like Sheshivas Imechag, all the first 7 days. Tu'un carbon. They have their carbon. The shear, the first 7 days have their carbon they have to bring. And they have their shear. They have a similar shear, the similar song the Levim sing. Shear means the Levim sing the same type of song.
Is that halal?
No, when you bring the Kabbanis, they sing a mizmar, certain ubracha and bracha. One sec, ubracha. Just like the first 7 days. Well, basically, look at this. Just like the first 7 days have carbon. Sorry?
You said the Sheksha or what is it?
Shekeshem, I'm sorry. Shekeshem, just as Sheshivas Mechag, the first 7 days, Tu'un carbon. That just like the first 7 days have carbon, they all have the carbon. This year they all have the similar shear. Ubracha and ubracha, we're not going to explain what that is yet. Velina, and they all shear, you ready for this? They have the same halacha of sleeping over. When you go up on Sukkot, you have to bring a carbon chagiga and you have to sleep over that night. And we learned from Psukim, if you miss the first night, meaning you don't bring it the first night, and you bring it the 4th night of Sukkot, then you sleep over. The same mitzvah applies all 7 days. If you miss one night, do it on the 4th night. You're supposed to be there the first day, and sleep over. If you miss that time, whatever, it's a shayla.
How you not sleeping your Sukkot?
On the first day of Sukkot, you bring a carbon, and that night you have to sleep over and leave the next morning. Go back home the next morning. You have to
sleep in the Mikdash.
You have to sleep in Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
The leader, you have to sleep.
Anyways,
Yeah, so in the early regal, they brought the carbon on the first day of Sukkot. That night they had to sleep over.
Sleep over where?
The night is first.
In Yerushalayim.
The night is
No, the families didn't have to come, but then the woman didn't have to come really.
Right, Makal Pnei Rabbah. We had that Makal Pnei Rabbah.
So it says the Gemara, Ashmini. So look what he says, Rabbi Sai. Look at this, Rabbi Sai. One second, hold on, Rabbi Sai. Don't lose the thing, because I want to get somewhere, Rabbi Sai. So the first 7 days all have a similar halacha regarding carbon. They have a similar halacha regarding shear. It means the same type of song. It's all part of one long song. Vilina, they all have the same mitzvah of sleeping over. And bracha, what didn't say what bracha is. Shmini, so to the 8th day, ton carbon has its unique carbon. The 8th day has a different carbon, a special unique carbon. The shir, the 8th day of Sukkot Shmini Atzeres has its own shir, its own unique song. Ubracha, we'll see what that is. The Lina, and it has a new mitzvah. Lina is not the same mitzvah of the 7 days. Lina means a new sleepover. The 8th day has a new mitzvah of sleeping over. Period.
Meaning aside from day 4, or maybe
Aside from whatever,
from the first day?
meaning you already slept over one night of Sukkot, you got to do it again on the 8th day.
And if you do it the 8th
Because
day,
it's a
you're not
different
gonna
yontif.
the first time.
Exactly.
So it's the other regular get.
It's so
Four
interesting
times?
that you have to be back there, Shmini Atzeres.
So it's 4 times, not 3 times.
Well, you're saying good. You're saying good. Right. You have to,
Yeah.
look at this on which side. Are you saying
Period, or
regular?
it's continuous?
Oh, so now period. The Gemara now analyzes, because Rabbi said, remember, the objective here is to be in the raya that you make a shechianu on Shmini Atzeres. So Rabbi said, you ask him, we didn't say anything yet about shechianu.
The bracha is
Bracha is that.
Wait up, 1 second. My lav
Oh, no, it's not.
isn't bracha, my lav, look at this, make a dash. My lav isn't bracha referring to, Rabbi said, I beg to understand, you write this, it isn't bracha, because you read it, it's not, doesn't make sense without reading it. Isn't bracha, when it says bracha, it says you have to have, it says the 7 days have its own bracha and 8 days has its own bracha. My lav, isn't bracha referring to dash zman? Zman means shechianu? Question mark?
We finish also.
Make a small footnote, a raya, then on the 8th day you make a new shechianu.
So this is why we brought this whole thing in.
This whole thing was a raya to Rabbi Yochanan, then on the 8th day you make a shechianu. Shall you ask him? Because it says just like the first 7 days have their own bracha, have their own carbon, their own song, their own sleepover, and their own bracha. They also have their own bracha. What's own bracha mean? We assume own bracha means shechianu. Kamalden, Chaim Baruch, you ask him. Klon, or falls good.
Yeah.
The Gemara says, lie. No. Make a dash. Birchas Hamazon v'tfila. It's referring to the Yalav V'Yavai, the special mentions in Birchas Hamazon and Yalav V'Yavai. During that Yalav V'Yavai, the 8th day has a new Yalav V'Yavai. You don't say Sukkot, say Shmini Atzeres. But it's not a raya.
How about that?
The kids also, Shmini Atzeres. You're right.
Why is that alright? The fact that you-
Oh, no, but it's not a raya. It's not a raya that you make a shechianu. We want to make a raya that you should make a shechianu. It has to be so new, such a different day. You make a new shechianu. So Rabbi Yochanan says it's such a new day. You make a new shechianu.
Meaning I'll call it a different name.
Call it a different name, but it could be somehow much more connected to Sukkot now. If you don't make a shechianu, means it's new, it's something different. So we want to bring a raya. It says the 8th day needs its own bracha. Yisuma, its own bracha, new shechianu, gorgeous raya. Gemara says no. Lo, Birchas Hamazon v'tfila. The dimensions in Yalav V'Yavai. That's not a raya. Period. The Gemara says, you ready? Everybody say, hold on just a few lines. I asked everyone to hold on the few lines because it's one piece of it. So we turn the page, everybody say, you know that we only turn the page 2 more times before we finish the paragraph. So everybody say, Nish Bashit.
Ellie, start working on it.
You
Yeah,
ready?
this one there. Didn't work too hard on this one. You gotta finish the same for the.
You ready?
for the
Wait, hold on. Everybody say, Ellie gave us a taste of the surprise steak tonight for turning the page.
This is the cover. The
Yeah. Everybody say, stay right here, Chavra. Stay right here. Hachinami Mistavro.
The whole thing.
You ready for this? Everybody say, follow with me, because look at this interesting back and forth. Everybody say, I'm going to push a few more minutes here. Hachinami Mistavro. Everybody say, don't miss us out. Chaim Baruch, yeah? All in?
Yeah.
Hachinami Mistavro. This is more logical. This is more logical that really it's not talking about Shechin. Hachinami Mistavro, that we're talking about the Yalav V'Yavai. Watch this, Rabbi say, watch this! If you think we're talking about Shechianu, make a dash. Zaman, excuse me. Zaman kol shiva mi'ika. Do you make a Shechianu all 7 days? The Brisa said before that just like the first 7 days have their own bracha, the 8th day has no bracha. You make a Shechianu every one of the 7 days?
First day.
first day of the Yom Tov.
It said,
But
but,
obviously you shouldn't make everything
what-
because it's
no,
one
listen,
ball,
but
yeah.
but what was the statement of the Bryce? The Bryce was saying, just like the first 7 days have bracha, the last day also has bracha. If it's min shechianu, let's plug it in. Just like the first 7 days have shechianu, the last day shechianu. The first 7 days shechianu. No, this first day. Oh, this first 7 days don't have
The
shechianu.
first day.
Oh, first day. So you can't. The statement is incorrect. Just like the first days have shechianu. Just like the first 7 days have shechianu, the last day shechianu.
Don't sleep for 7 days either.
Maybe it means.
Oh, sure, Falls asking about sleeping. Amazing. So they explained that all 7 days you could do this. You could fulfill the same mitzvah. If you miss one, you could
And if
do
you miss
it.
Shafia,
Think about it. So everybody said, hold on. Hold on, Kasha. That's not a question. This is not a question that you asked me. 7 days you make shachar. Not a question. Make a dash. Eloi baruch inna. If you don't say shachar on the first day. Shechianu, we don't mean to make a shechianu every day. We mean that it's possible. All 7 days you could do the same mitzvah of shechianu.
You make Shechan any day of the year.
Eloi baruch inna. If you don't make a bracha on the first day, make a dash. Mevarch l'machar, make a bracha on the second day. Aylu yom achrina, or different day. Exclamation point. No kasha.
Or
Oh.
you could say like Rabbi Yehuda said it before. Maybe you would have made another bracha, but just because he holds that you don't make a new bracha every day, that's why you don't make a bracha.
Well, what's that? You're saying good. You're saying good. But it has to be something that it's all 7 days. So just for a second, nobody said the Gemara said they were talking about Yalav Yavai. The Gemara says, of course, it makes sense to be talking about Yalav Yavai. Why is it about Yalav Yavai? Well, because if it was Shechiyam, you make a Shechiyam all 7 days. The Gemara says that's not a kasha. No. So right now we're back to we don't have a good raya. We say we don't have a good raya. We want to bring a raya. It must be. Everybody say that's following. We wanted to say it must be Yalav Yavai. Why? Because it was Shechianu. Do you make a Shechianu all 7 days? Oh, it's a raya. It's not Shechianu. The Gemara said no. It is Shechianu. Shechianu 7 days. Yeah. If you miss one, then you make a bracha. So we do have a raya right now. That it's really talking about benching.
Yeah. Well, not a raya, but
We want to bring a raya that's talking about benching. Why? Because if it's talking about Shechianu, then what?
Right, and then we said maybe it was something else, and we said no, it can't be that.
But then we said that's not a kasha because we do make Shechianu. Because if you missed the first day, you can make the second or the third or the fourth.
And we're accepting that?
Yeah. So that, the Gemara says that's not a kasha. So really, Rabbi say right now we have no raya that they have no raya to say that it's really Yalav Yavai. The Gemara deflected it. We want to bring. You said you said Hachinam Mistaber. The second line said Hachinam Mistaber. It's logical to say it means Yalav Yavai because if it's Shechianu, you don't make a Shechianu all 7 days. Gemara says no raya. Because you could make a Shechianu on day 1, day 2. Rabbi Master. The Gemara.
either that it's Shafia.
We have no right either way. The Gemara wanted to say, the Gemara, no. The Gemara, it's very good. The Gemara wanted to say that we're talking about Yalav Yavai. Really, you don't make a Shechianu on the. Really, it's not. You don't make a Shechianu on the 8th day. You make a new Yalav Yavai. Shmiyat Tzeres. I have a good raya to that. You know what's my raya? That's where it means Yalav Yavai. Because the Brisa said that just like the first 7 days have bracha, the last day has bracha. If it means Shechianu. So now, does that statement make sense? The first 7 days have Shechianu, the last day also, the 8th day also Shechianu. No, because you don't make a Shechianu every day of the 7 days. You make a Shechianu every day.
I think you just said.
Oh, I backed up. So it must be a raya that it's not Shechianu. Rather, what is it? What do you do all 7 days? Not Shechianu. You make Yalav Yavai.
Right.
So you have a good raya that it's Yalav Yavai. It's not Shechianu. Because how can you say it says all 7 days you can do bracha? What is that bracha talking about? Shechianu or Yalav Yavai?
No, there's a lot of brachas that we
I know bracha here means a special bracha. What does that special bracha mean? It's either
This is on Sunday.
yes, it's either Yalav Yavai or Shechianu. Could it be Shechianu? No, Shechianu don't make all 7 days. Impossible. The Gemara says no, you do. If you miss the first day, make the second day. That's what we
They
mean.
should have
Yeah, but we're going to put that aside because I want to just it's either Yalav Yavai or Shechianu. Says the Gemara right now. Look at this Mikol Makayim. Okay, so right now, Rabbi say, look at this, Rabbi. So look at this. We want to say, you ready, Chevra? Rabbi say, I want to just get to the dot that we can finish this Gemara. You ready, Rabbi say? So right now, we want to say that we could still be talking about Shechianu, right? Bracha could really be Shechianu. You have no raya. You ready? Chaim, you ready?
Yeah.
So right now, Rabbi says, I'm holding. I need to know if Adam's holding. Yaakov, you must
So we
Yaakov?
ended the American, so it's no kasha that. It's no kasha that. Right, and also it's not a raya that brachas. That's something like that also.
Exactly. Rabbi Say, Rabbi Say, I want to stop for 1 minute. Rabbi Say, just 1 minute, please. Rabbi Say, give the attention just for 1 minute. On Amud Aleph, the Gemara wanted to say that I'm going to bring a raya that on the 8th day, Rabbi Say, listen closely, because and Rabbi Say, listen closely, because I tell you right now, it'll go straight in. And listen closely, Rabbi Say. The Gemara wanted to bring a raya that on the 8th day of Sukkot, it's a new Yom Tov, and you make a new Shechianu. And the raya was, because the Brisa says, I'm focusing just on what we need. Just like all 7 days have their special carbon, and their special bracha, the 8th day also has its special bracha. So the Gemara says, what does it mean the first 7 days have its own bracha, and the 8th day also has its own bracha? That bracha means Shechianu. Great. Bracha means a new bracha, something different. So just like all 7 days have Shechianu, the 8th day also has Shechianu. Great raya. The 8th day has its own bracha. It says 8th day has its own bracha. What bracha is that? Shechianu. First one is Shechianu. So now do we have a raya? Klar. The Brisa says the 8th day has its own bracha. Yudi Yamaskin? The 8th day has its own bracha. What's that bracha? Chaim Baruch?
Shechianu.
And the raya is because we don't say it.
No, the raya is because the Brisa say the statement. Just like the first 7 days have its own bracha, the 8th day also has its own bracha. What does that mean, own bracha? Own bracha means it's something unique. Just like the first 7 days have something unique, the 8th day also has something unique. What is that?
It's not the same as those 7 days.
Right. No, meaning a new shechianu, a shechianu means it's always new.
Got it.
Shechianu means a new day, a new bracha. So good raya, the 8th day has a new bracha, and shechianu. Yehuda, I need your new mamash, yeah? So is that a good raya? So the more, what does the Gemara say? The Gemara says no. Who said it means shechianu? Maybe it means yalav yavai. Maybe when it says that the 8th day has a new bracha, just like the first 7 days have a new bracha, just like 7 days have bracha, the 8th day also has bracha. You asking? Bracha means a new mention, a new mentioning. Good. So right now you're baruch, yes. So the Gemara says, who said bracha means shechianu? Maybe when it says, look, I said the statement you have to keep in mind is this statement. Just like the first 7 days have bracha, the 8th day has bracha. We thought it meant shechianu, great raya. Just like 7 days, 8th day. The Gemara says, no, bracha means a new mention. What's that new mention?
Yalav Yavai.
You have no raya.
No raya
that you make a new shechianu.
And the 8th day.
On the 8th day. Because maybe what's the new thing you do?
But for the animals, it's saying for the animals it seems different. So maybe
So what's
the whole point of bringing this down to bring a raya?
Yeah, but the Gemara said in as much as I can explain that it means Yalav Yavai, meaning the Gemara wants to bring a raya, it means Shechianu. The Gemara says, not a raya, I could deflect it and say, that doesn't mean Shechianu, it means what? Great, now the Gemara says, you know what? Yalav Yavai makes sense. It's even better. Not just do we not have a raya for Shechianu, Yalav Yavai makes much more sense. You know why? Because go back to the original statement of the Brisa. What's that statement? Just like the first 7 days have bracha, the 8th day also has bracha. If we mean Shechianu, let's plug that in. Just like the first 7 days have Shechianu, the 8th day has Shechianu. Does the first 7 days have Shechianu? When you in Sukkot, every day you get up there, Shechianu, b'timon,
No, but if you forget.
Not day one. So obviously it's not talking about Shechianu. So the Gemara is bringing a raya the other way now. Not just do we not have raya, not just is it not Shechianu, I have a raya it's not Shechianu. Because the statement would not make sense. To say 7 days bracha, 7 days on carbon that makes sense. 7 days bracha means Shechianu. You don't make Shechianu 7 days in a row with the first day. So I now have a raya that what? That really means Yalav Yavai. The objective was to be a raya. We're talking about that Shechianu was on the 8th day. The Gemara saying I have a raya that not just is not Shechianu, it's really what? Yalav Yavai. What's the raya? Because it says the first 7 days you make bracha. You don't make a Shechianu the first 7 days. Just this and this is what we read inside. We'll stop over here. The Gemara says Halai Kasha. To try to throw that back at me and say that I have a raya the other way. No. You don't have a raya, it's Yalav Yavai. Maybe I can't prove to Shechianu. But I cannot be, you don't have a raya that is Yalav Yavai. Halai Kasha, that's not a question. Look at this. Halai Kasha. Because what we mean is the Eloi Baruch Ina, if you don't make
When it says you can make all 7 days.
When it says 7 days, it means that if you don't make on the first day, you make on the next day, or another day. So Rabbaruch, just because it says 7 days bracha, it doesn't mean that all 7 days you have to. It means bracha on, and it must be shakyanu. It means all 7 days could have bracha. And what bracha could that be then? Not yah. It could be shakyanu. How?
Yeah.
Forget. So you have no raya that it means yalav yavai. Because your whole raya that it was yalav yavai was that 7 days. How can you? Gorgeous. So it must be right. Amazing. So the Gemara says they have no raya. I begged on this chaz that, like that, and like that, like that, and but it came. Sure, it
Yeah.